Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's pose tutorial is corpse pose. And if you're familiar with this one, you might think, why do I need a tutorial for this? If you're unfamiliar with this actually might sound really morbid and like, why do we call it corpse pose? I don't know. That's actually a terrible name, but that's what they named it, so that's what we're gonna go with, I guess. So really the reason why I wanted to do this one is because even though it's not a very technical pose at all, it's basically just a restorative pose that you take during meditation, I think a lot of times it can feel awkward, and so there's a couple ways you can modify it to make it a little bit easier on your body if it feels weird. So let's go ahead and find corpse pose. You're gonna lie down and just let your whole body relax. So typically your legs are a little bit wider than the hips. I would say generally about mat width apart, but it depends on your height as well. If you're very tall, the legs might be wider than the mat. And if you're a little shorter, they might be more narrow. So it just depends. The arms are out at the sides, palms facing up, and they're also wider than the shoulders. So you're not like in a completely rigid stance here. This feels unnatural even when you do it. So you want this pose to feel fully relaxed, fully open, just balanced and easy. So the palms are facing up, the fingers kind of curl in naturally, and you want to let the ankles roll out to the side. So again, it's not a rigid pose. You don't need to like engage the legs and keep the feet facing up. You actually want everything to stop working, I would say. So once you get yourself situated where the body is balanced and you feel comfortable, from there you just let everything go. So from the top of your head down to the toes, everything just softens and sort of melts down into the mat. So obviously that's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy, pretty nice. But what can feel uncomfortable is if the legs are totally straight out, the lower back can feel a little bit uncomfortable depending on the person. So if your back is uncomfortable in this one, just modify by bending the knees and letting the knees drop in towards the center. That just removes the pressure from the lower back and allows you to actually enjoy this, the intention of this pose, of this time in a yoga class without any physical discomfort. So I would actually say that, okay, yes, corpse pose is exactly what we did, right? Legs out, everything is just blah, for lack of a better word. But I would actually say that when you come to the point in class where corpse pose is called for, I want you to think of the intention of this pose rather than the pose itself, because sometimes it just doesn't feel good to be straight out like that. The intention behind corpse pose is to close out your practice. So think about it too. A lot of times we open class with like child's pose or something, or even happy baby. We sort of begin there and we end at the other end of the spectrum. So think of the intention, which is to close out your class. You want to close out in peace, in comfort, in stillness. So whatever modifications you feel like you need to make to corpse pose to make it accessible for you is what I want you to do. Bending the knees like we just did and letting the back relax is one option. If for whatever reason your neck is uncomfortable or you feel like you need to elevate your upper body, you can even put pillows or a bolster under your torso to elevate yourself even further. So again, in corpse pose, I personally think that you need to focus more on the intention. I want to relax, I want to be peaceful, and I want to be able to just close out this class in comfort and modify in whatever way you need to in order to make that happen. So a little bit of an unconventional pose tutorial because we changed it quite a bit, but those are your options, those are your modifications. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you right back here next time.